Protests continue in the Middle East and beyond against the US over President Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem, al-Quds, as Israel's capital. The move is seen by hundreds of millions of Muslims as an insult to the third holiest city in Islam. In some countries, demonstrations have turned violent. Meanwhile, condemnations continue pouring in, with world heads of state lashing out at the US.
You don't have such an authority. Palestine has always been under occupation since 1947. Israel is an occupying regime. Israel is a terrorist entity. Mr. Trump, we will not fall for your mistake.
Some observers in the US claim Trump's al-Quds move was aimed at making good on a campaign promise.
Number one is going to fulfill a campaign promise that he made. But another reason is that he doesn't like working within the global community and having them hamstring the United States. So he doesn't like what has also been tried before by Obama.
One media report says Trump was given the green light by Saudi Arabia and Egypt before declaring al-Quds as Israel's capital. Another report says Saudi Arabia has pressured Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to keep him silent on Trump's move. According to the report, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman offered the Palestinian president a version of the Trump administration's peace plan for the Middle East, which included the possibility of a Palestinian state without territorial continuity and without al-Quds as its capital.
There are about 3 or 4 countries that without whose participation this decision couldn't have come to fruition. And those are Saudi Arabia, and then there's Egypt. I'm sure Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is definitely part of that equation as well. And then there is Jordan as well, which is also party to that equation.
The New York Times says Abbas has been left, quote, fuming after hearing details of the proposal during a meeting with bin Salman in Riyadh. Sources familiar with the issue say the offer also suggested that Israeli settlements in the West Bank would remain protected and the new state of Palestine would have its capital city in Abu Dis, a town which borders Jerusalem. Abbas aides say, quote, no Palestinian leader could accept the proposal.
This Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not as simple as it actually looks on the book, because Israel has actually forgotten the fact that, there's a significant part of the Zionist or the Jewish population in Israel which live in very they're suffering from socioeconomic and psychological distress. They also yearn to end this nightmare as well, because they are being mistreated by the government, by the Zionist government of Israel.
On the surface, Saudi Arabia and other Arab states have opposed Trump's move on al-Quds. This prevarication is construed by many as hypocrisy on the part of the Saudi regime and its peers in the Arab world. The US recognition of al-Quds has exacted irreversible damage to the so-called two-state solution for the Palestinian issue. But Washington seems to be bent on pushing ahead with its pressures on Abbas to bring him to the negotiating table with Israel. Saudi Arabia is acting as a tool for the US to achieve its goals in favor of Israel.